at the end of the day, when you put all of that together, it's actually a lot for 1 month and for someone who's not getting a salary. And follow up on people that I had approached before. So companies were like, no, they don't have money. They thought they will have money. I ran out of funds at the end of 2 years.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Healthy Choices with Dr. L. I am Dr. L, and today I bring you a video with Dr. Ngwisanyi David, who's done a video with me before, where she talked about general surgery. And at the time, she was still a general surgery resident. But now she's officially a general surgeon. So she's done with her training and she's officially a general surgeon, but she'll go into detail as to what her title is, where she's certified, and all of that good jazz. So people have reached out to me like about residency training and doing it in the US, the UK, Canada. I know there's an option to do it in South Africa if you are in Africa, but the difference between most of these developed countries and Africa is that in Africa, you have to pay out of pocket or you have to get a sponsor in order to go for residency training. So there are some people who may not necessarily have a sponsor, but they're still able to go for residency training. So let's hear Dr. Ngwisanyi David's story on how she was able to get through residency.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, like Dr. L said, I'm Dr. Ngwisanyi David. I am now a general surgeon, qualified from South Africa via the College of Surgeons of South Africa and via the University of Witwatersrand, in Johannesburg, South Africa. Like she mentioned, I was a supernumerary registrar, which is also basically what it means is that I am self-sponsored. When you're self-sponsored means you are not getting paid. You work like everybody else, you do everything that needs to be done, and you get taught like everybody else. It's just that the only difference is that there is no payment for whatever you are doing at the end of the month.
Wow. So why is it that if you have options like the US, the UK, where you can get paid while you're a trainee, why did you choose to go to South Africa?
I trained my undergrad in Jamaica, which is miles away from home. Home is Botswana, by the way. So for me, it was more of wanting to be closer to home after being 5 years away from home. And South Africa was like a good choice for me. You know, going to the US also comes with quite a lot of costs. It means you have to write the exams, USMLEs, and all of that. So I thought South Africa would be an easier choice for me, and mostly also because the pathology in South Africa, it's almost the same thing in Botswana. So I was more comfortable with coming here, even though I didn't have a salary for 5 years.
So surviving without a salary for 5 years. How did you do it?
It wasn't easy, to tell the truth. So when I made the decision, I had saved quite an amount, but my amount could only take me up to 2 years. So the question was, should I just start with what I have and figure it out during the way, or should I wait? But I approached different companies, different NGOs, and they made some sort of promises. And therefore, I actually made that decision to go just based on the potential of what could happen after 2 years. When I got here, I had to pay school fees because you have to pay the university, and then you have to think of rental every month. Rent in Johannesburg, it's quite expensive, to be honest. Actually very different from Botswana, where the prices are very lower. And then cost of petrol, we all know most countries have been affected by that. So the prices are quite high here also. Electricity, internet, buying food, toiletry, everything is just a cost. So at the end of the day, when you put all of that together, it's actually a lot for 1 month and for someone who's not getting a salary. I ran out of funds at the end of 2 years. I paid my school fees. Luckily, because when you register as a postgrad, you register as a staff. So there's some subsided school fees for staff. So I did get that on my second year. On my first year, I didn't get it because I didn't know about it. And then on the second year, I knew about it. So I paid quite less. I did follow up on people that I had approached before. So companies were like, no, they don't have money. They thought they will have money. NGOs still saying nothing has come up as yet. But luckily, just when I was about to pack my bags, going back home to save again, Rotary International Club in the US picked up my profile online, and that club decided they will support me because they read my entire story and they had an edge to help somehow in the health system in Africa. So I don't know whether I should call it grace but I think it's grace, because there were so many profiles online, people asking NGOs for funds, grants, and all of that. So I qualified for the grant, and they agreed to sponsor me for the rest of my 3 years, which they did, and I'm very grateful for. So they covered all my school fees, my rental, and the rest.
You could take us through specifics of like how much the school fees were, what your average monthly costs were, just to see, so that somebody out there who's sitting at home is like, okay, do I need to save more, or do I have enough?
So just to go on the specifics, so it depends on the course that you are doing, right? So the way it's set up for us is that we do the MEd, which is the Masters in Medicine part, which is with the university. That's why you pay in the university, right? And then you have the College of Medicine of South Africa, which is different colleges. So I'm under the College of Surgeons of South Africa. So they also have their exams, which you have to pay for that. So school fees for the first year, which you practically don't have any exam, you haven't done your research and everything. So it's a full package as it is. So I had to pay 30,000 rand. So that's the school fees for a foreigner. Because you are staff, as a foreigner, you get a 55% versus the locals, they get up to 85%. Yeah, so they pay way, way, way less. For the CMSA, which is College of Medicine of South Africa, we have, for surgery, we have primary exams, then we have intermediate exams, and then we have final exams. Each year it differs. Every year the prices goes up. By that time, I think I was paying 2,000, but now the amounts are quite high. And then the intermediates also, it's like 7,000 when I paid at that time. And then my final exams was 17,000. This is just depending on when you are writing the exams. And as you go up with the university, you still pay almost the same amount each year. Unless you do your research, you submit it gets marked quite early in your years, then the school fees actually reduces significantly. So I did make note of that. So I did my research within the first 3 years of my training. Our training is 5 years. So when I went on my 3rd year, I submitted my MEd, my research. So it got marked. And then my school fees actually reduced almost from 30,000 to 15,000. And then I got the 55% off, which I ended up paying up to like, I think 7,000 or so. Yeah, so for the last 2 years of my training, I had to pay like 7,000. So you can see, if you can do better than that, then your school fees will be almost that amount for most of your years. And then when it comes to rent, I rented a 1-bedroom apartment. It was 6.5 when I started in 2018, 6.5 thousand rents. And then year by year, the prices increases. So I had to move to a 2-bedroom where I can share with someone to cut the cost, which I did that for 2 years. Each one of us, we paid 5.5 for us to reach 10,000, because 2 beds is like 10,000 now. When I got married, I moved in a one bedroom, which is 7.5. Electricity is expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Electricity, I had to, and I'm someone who doesn't cook, hey? So because I don't cook, I saved on that side of costs, but I had to probably pay, not probably, 500 rands. And then you have petrol. I spent 600 rands per week for my very, very small car. Well, my movements were quite limited. I was a student. So it was just the hospital home, and being on call and all of that. And then food and toiletry, probably like 2,000 a month. But I wasn't buying, it was more of breakfast and all of that. But if you're someone who cooks, your prices are definitely going to be higher than that.
So you covered your own costs up until the second year, right? Is there opportunities to maybe make extra income while you're a trainee? Because I've heard of people doing locums to kind of supplement whatever savings they have. Is that something that's possible with, a little bit of extra income on the side? Can you get other jobs outside of healthcare when you're doing your MEd program?
To be honest, with surgery, it was almost impossible to do any other thing besides the program itself. Because one, you are a doctor, you are not a student to start off with. So you are on call, you are post call, you have all these other duties, clinic, theater, electives, and all of that. But also, besides just the busy schedule, it's not allowed for you to use your study permit now to do a job where you earn income, because it's the study permit. You actually don't have a permit, a working permit to start with. So it's actually not allowed for us to do that. Even local residents, they're not allowed to go outside and do locums. But people get to do it, but it's not allowed. So that's not an option for us.
When you talked about the Rotary Club that picked up the tab for the remaining 3 years of your training, you mentioned that you had a profile online. Is there a particular website that people can use? Are there particular organizations that people can reach out to in order to try and get sponsorship? How does it work? Can you walk us through that?
So for Rotary, yeah, there is a Rotary International Club website. You can just type that and then it will come, and then you choose where it says grants. And then you go to grants and then you read all their conditions and all of that. Actually, their conditions are not that bad. They have different themes on how do you want to contribute to the society that you live in. So there's the health part, the economic part, sanitary, and all of that. So you choose just depending on where you fall under, and then you read all the conditions. The conditions are not that bad. The only condition that you have to promise is that after they sponsor you, you go back and serve the community as you have described, because you're going to write all the description, how you're going to serve the community, how is them helping you going to help the next person. Other places where one can search, I've seen, because I'm a woman, so I've seen quite a lot of women grants coming up, like there's Nelson Mandela one. So there are those ones that come now and then. They just pop out depending on the year and depending whether there's funds or not. So you just have to keep up with searching almost every day and asking around people if they have they've seen anything, so they send to you. The other thing that nearly worked for me, but I don't know why it didn't work, is approaching companies like colleges, or you can approach individuals who are ready to invest.
Mhm.
Like someone will invest on you, and then later on you do a business with them, and then you pay them back. Such a way, in such an arrangement can happen for you. The government sponsorship is an option. They actually do send people out on paid study leave and on basic salary. So that's also an option. It takes time, but it's one of the options that one can consider. For me, I had applied for like 2 years and I was told there's no money. At that time, I decided I'll leave the government, go into private and save, because the salary wasn't enough for me to save for school. So when I went into private, I got a permanent job in private, and then I did lots of locums. So in that 1.5 years of me saving, I did quite a lot of locums. Almost the whole day I was at work. In the evening, all the way until 2 a.m., I was doing locums. So that's how I managed to save quite a lot. I had a car, I had a house, I sold all of them. So I also managed to save in that aspect. Yeah, like I said, it takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of guts for someone to actually make the decision and drop everything and downgrade your life. You have no car. Well, you have a very, very small car. You have no house. You can't even support your family anyhow. Then, that's what I mean when I say sacrifice. It comes with quite a big sacrifice, but it can be done. And I think it's worth it. So you probably need 100,000 per year.
100,000
So
rands or pula per year?
rent.
Okay.
Yeah, pay for you to cover your school fees, your rentals, everything.
That's a
Yeah.
good estimate to have. At least somebody can kind of plan around that number and see if they can save up enough, or if
Yeah.
it's that they can get
Yeah.
a sponsorship to cover that cost.
Mhm.
All right. When I do get questions about the US, UK options and Canada options, I'm always like, in as much as I love home and I would have loved to be close to home, part of the reason why I came all the way to the US is I knew that while I'm a trainee, I'll get a stipend, which is basically an allowance to cover your basic living costs, and that's it. But I cannot even begin to fathom not having an income and having to go to work every single day. So kudos to you, ma'am, for doing it for 5 whole years. That's some dedication. And congratulations. You've done an amazing, amazing job. I am proud of you. For those who don't know, Dr. Ngisanya David is actually a cousin of mine. It's interesting how our relationship developed like when we were much older, even though we kind of knew each other growing up, which is a story for another day. Do you have anything else to add? Do you have some advice for some budding doctors out there, or some medical officers out there who are interested in pursuing specialty training? What advice do you have for them?
One, I think now we are heading towards everyone should actually think of specializing, because we actually do need specialists, different specialists back home. Well, I'll talk for Botswana, let me say. We do need specialists, we do need subspecialists. It's actually a big need back home. So if you are a medical officer, you are thinking of it, actually start being intentional about it, because it's a need. It's no longer just a want for the country, it's a need. And I think wherever you get a space and it's accredited and you've made enough research around the institution, just go for it and learn and be competent in whatever area you like. I'm a surgeon, so I'll speak for surgeons. We do need actually sub-spec in surgery, not just gen surg. We need vascular surgeons, we need HPBs, we need colorectals, we need everyone at home. So I'll say, yeah, go for it. Really do go for it. One thing you should know is that going for specialization is a sacrifice on its own. You're gonna sacrifice a lot of family time. You're gonna sacrifice your income, your comfort, and everything. But that comes to an end. I never thought 5 years will come to an end, but here we are. It has all come to an end. I'm going back home and I'm gonna end. So don't think about, well, you're gonna think about it, but it shouldn't stop you from going ahead. Just sacrifice the 4 years, the 5 years, go for it. Sooner or later, you're gonna be done.
Thank you so much for making time to join me today and make this video. Hopefully it'll benefit somebody out there. Like Dr. Nkwisanya was saying, if you're out there and you're looking to go and specialize, please do. There's many avenues. Take her example, self-sponsor if you can, get help if you can. Thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in more videos regarding careers in medicine, careers in healthcare in general, please stick around, subscribe, like, comment. If you have questions about specialty training in South Africa or the US or other parts of the world, please leave a comment down below and I'll try and respond to that. All right, until next time, bye everyone.
Bye.